Book 3, Part 2, of Troilus and Criseyde, by Geoffrey Chaucer. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Kevin Johnson.
This Troilus full son on knees him sette full soberly, reeked be her bed as heide, and in his best wees his laddie greete. But Lord, so she wax suddenly she reed, nay, though men shoulden smeten of her heed, she coulda not a word a reeked out bringe, so suddenly, for his sudden coming. But Pandarus, that so well coulda fail in everything, to play anewn began, and saide, Nessa, see how this Lord can knaile. Now, for your troth, seeth this gentleman? And with that word he for a question ran, and saide, Knaileth now, will that jou leiste, der God your heart is bringe soon at reste. Can he not sayn, for she bade him not rease, if sorrow it putte out of her remembrance, or else that she took it in the weese of duety, as for his observance. But well finde she did him this pleasance, that she him kissed, although she seeked sore, and bade him sitte down withouten more. Quod Pandarus, now will ye well beginne, now doth him sitte, good Nessa dere, upon your beddes side all there withinne, that each of jou the bet may other here. And with that word he drew him to the faire, and took a leeked, and found his countenance, as for to look upon an old romance. Criseyde, that was Troilus laddie reeked, and Clare stood on the ground of seeker Nessa, although she, her servant and her knecht, ne should have reeked non untrouth in her gaze, yet natheless considered his distresse, and that love is in cause of switch folly, thus to him spake she of his jealousy. Lo, Hartemine, as wold the excellence of love against the which that no man may, ne ought to eke goodly maken resistance, and eke because he felt well and say your great troth, and service every day, and that your heart all mean was, sooth the same, this drove me for to rue upon your pain. And your goodness have ye found all we yet, of which my dear heart and all me knecht, ye thanke it jou, as fair as ye have wit, all can ye nocht as much as it were reeked, and ye, and forth my koning and me meeked, have and I shall, how sore that me smarte, been to jou trou and whole, with a mine harte, and readilies that shall be found at preve. But, Hartemine, what all this is to sayn, shall well be told, so that ye nocht jou grave, thou I to jou read on yourself complaine, for therewith many finally the pain, that halt your heart and mean in heaviness, fully to sleen, and every wrong redress. My goode, mean, not e for we, ne how, that jealousy, alas, that wicked wivery, thus causalis is cropen into jou, the harm of which he wold fain deliver. Alas, that he all whole, or of him sliver, should have his refuge in so digne a place, there love him soon out of your heart aras. But O, thou love, O auctor of nature, is this an honour to the deity, that folk unguiltive suffren here injury? And who that guiltive is, all quit goth he, or weren it lawful for to plain on thee, that undeserved suffrest jealousy, of that he would upon thee plain and cry. Eke, all me woe is this, that folk now usen to sayn rictus, yea, jealousy is love, and would a bushel venom all excusen, for that a grain of love is on it shove. But that what hath God that sit above, if it be leek or love, or hate, or grama, and after that it ought to bear his name. But certain is, some manner jealousy is excusable more than some ye wis, as one cause is, and some switch fantasy, with piety so well repressed is, that it neither doeth or saith amiss, but goodly drinketh up all his distress, and that excuse he for the gentlesse. And some so full of fury is and despite, that it surmounteth his repression. But Hartemine, ye be not in that plit, that thanke ye God, for which your passion ye will not call it but illusion, of abundance of love and busy cure, that doth your heart this disease endure. Of which ye am right sorry but not ruth, but for may devour, and your heart is rest, whereso yow least by ordel or by ooth, by sort or in what wise so yow laist, for love of God, that prave it for the best. And if that ye be guilty, do me day, alas, would make ye more doen or say. With that a few break terrors knew out of her ain fila, and thus she said, now God, thou wost, in thought nae data and true, to Troilus was never yet Criseyde. With that her head down in the bad she laid, and with the shated rake, and seeged sore, and held her peace, not a word spak she more. But now help God to quenchen all this sorrow, so hope ye that he shall, for he best may. For ye have seen, over full misty morwa, fallen full oft a merry summer's day, and after winter followeth grain o' May, men seen all day, and raden eke in stories, that after sharpe showers been victories. This Troilus, when he here word is heard, have ye no cara him list not to sleep, for it took to him no strokes of a yard, to hear or seen Criseyde his laddie weep, but well he felt about his heart creep, for every tear which that Criseyde esterte, a cramp of death to strain him by the heart. And in his mind he gan the team a curse, that he come there, and that he was born, for now is wiki eterna into worse, and all that labour he hath done before, he went it lost, he thought he nos but lorn. O Pandarus, thought he, alas, the wheela serveth of naught, so wail away the wheela. And therewithal he hung adown the heed, and fell on knees, and sorrowfully he seeked. What meeked he saying? He felt he nos but deed, for Ruth was she that showed his sorrow was leaked. But natheless, when that he spake and meeked, then said he thus, God woot that all this gama, when all is wist, then am I not to blame. Therewith the sorrow so his heart shette, that from his eyen fell there not a terror, and every spirit his vigour inknette. So they astoned or oppressed were, the failing of his sorrow or of his fere, or of aught else that was out of town, and down he fell all suddenly a swoon. This was no little sorrow for to say, but all was hushed, and Pandare up was fast. Onisa, peace, or we be lost, quod he. Beth not aghast, but certain at the last, for this or that, he into bad him cast, and said, O thief, is this a man's heart? And off he rent all to his bare shart. And said, Nace, but ye help us now. Alas, your own Troilus is born. Ye wis, so will ye, and ye wist how, full fain, quod she. Alas, that he was born. Yea, niece, will ye pullen out the thorn that sticketh in his heart, quod Pandare? Say, all for Yeva, and stint is all this fara. Yea, that to me, quod she, for lever were than all the good the sun about a gooth, and therewithal she swore him in his era. Ye wis me, dere heart, ye am not truth, have hear me trouth, and many another ooth. Now spake to me, for it am I, Criseyde, but all for naught, yet meeked he not it brede. Therewith his paws and palmes of his handes they gone to frote, and wet his temples twain, and to deliveren him for bittere bondes she oft him kissed, and shortly for to sain him to revoken she did all her pain, and at the last he gan his breath to draw, and of his swalk soon after that a daw, and gan Betminda and raised to him taka, but wonder sore he was a beast he wis, and with a seek, when he gan better waka, he said, O mercy God, what thing is this? Why do ye with yourselven thus amiss? Quod Criseyde, is this a manus gama? What, Troilus? Will ye do thus for shama? And therewith all her armour over him she laid, and all for Yeve, and oft to team him cased. He thanked her, and to her spak and said, as filled to purpose for his heart a rest. And she to that answered him as her last, and with her goodly words him disporta, she gan, and oft his sorrows to comforta. Quod Pandarus, for aught he can spien, this licht, nor ine serven hair of nacht. Licht is not good for seeker folkens yen, but for the love of God, sin ye be bracht in this good pleat, let now non heavy thought been hanging in the heartes of your tway, and bar the candle to the chimney. Soon after this, log it no nede were, when she switch others as her least devisa, had of him taka, her thought though no fairer, ne cause eke known, to bidde him than as rees, yet least a thing than others may suffice in many a case, for every week he guessa, that loveth well, meaneth but gentilessa. But in effect she wolde weete known, of what man and eke were, and also we, he jealous was, sin there was cause none, and eke the signe that he took it be, she bade him that to tell her busily, or else certain she bar him on honda, that this was doon of malice her to fonda. Without an more, shortly for to saying, he most obey unto his laddie hesta, and for the lasse harma he most a fain. He said to her, when she was at switch a festa, she micht on him han looked at the lesta, not ye not what, all dare ye nocta risha, as he that needeth most a cause of fisha. And she answered, sweeta, all were it so. What harm was that, sin ye non ye vomena? For, by that God that balked us both two, in all a thing is mean and tanta clean, switch arguments ne been not worth a bena, while ye that shield is jealous, counterfeita, now were it worthy that ye were a beta. Though Troilus gan sorrowfully to seeka, that she be ruth, him thought his heart to dade, and saide, alas, upon my sorrow seeka, have mercy, sweete heart mean Criseyde, and if that, in the words that he saide, be any wrong, ye will no more trespassa, do what you list, ye am all in your gressa. And she answered, of guilt misericorde, that is to saying, that he forgave all this, and evermore on this nicht yow recorda, and beth well where ye do no more amiss. Nay, der horte mean quod he, ye wis, and now quod she, that ye have down your smarta, forgive it me, mean owen sweete harta. This Troilus with lease of that surprised, but all in God's hand, as he that meant no thing but well, and, suddenly avised, he her in armes fast to him henta, and Pandarus, with a full good intenta, laid him to sleep, and said, if ye been wisa, snoweth not now, lest more folk arise. What meekter may the silly lark say, when that the sparhawk hath it in his foot, ye can no more, but of this ilke tway, to whom this tale sucre be or suit, though that a tarry a year some team ye mote, after mean octor tellin her gladnessa, as well as he have told her heavinessa. Criseyde, which that felt her thus ye taka, as written clerkes in her book is olda, richt as an aspis leaf she gan to quacka, when she him felt her in his armes folda. But Troilus, all hool of caras cold, gan thanken though the blissful goddess seven, thus sundry pains bringen folk in heaven. This Troilus in armes gan her straine, and saide, O sweet, as ever mote ye gone, now be ye cocked, now is there but we twain, now yieldeth yow, for other boat is known. To that Criseyde answered thus anon, nay, hadde ye ere now, me sweete hearte dere, been yolde, ye wisa, ye were now not here. O, sooth is said, that hailed for to be, as of a favour or other great sicknessa, men most a drinka, as men may often say, for bittre drink, and for to han gladnessa, men drinken oft a pain and great distressa. He main it here, as for this aventure, that Thaurg a pain hath found in all his cure. And now sweetnessa seemeth more sweet, that bitternessa said was beforn, for out of woe and bliss now they flate, which they felten, sith they were born. Now is this bait, then both are twoe be lorn. For love of God, taka every woman hade, to worken thus, if it cometh to the nade. Criseyde, all quit from every braid and tain, the shade that used to cause had him to trasta, made him switch faceta, joy was to sain, when she his troth and clain and taunt a wista, and as about a tray, with many a twista, be Trent and Reeth the sota woda binda, gan each of him in armes other winda. And as the new Abbey should nicht in gala, that stinteth first, when she beginneth to singa, when that she heareth any herde tala, or in the heges any wheat stirring, and after seeker doeth her voice outringa, reached so Criseyde, when her dread stenta, opened her hearte and told to him her intenta. And reeked as he that seeth his deithy shapen, and day a mote, in aught that he may gaze, and suddenly rescous doth him escapen, and from his death is brought in seekernessa, for all this world in switch present gladnessa was Troilus, and hath his lady sweeta, with worse a hap God let us never meta. Her arm is small, her strength the back and softa, her seed is longa, fleshly, smooth and weeta, he gan to stroka, and good thrift bad full ofta her snowish throata, her breast is round and leta, thus in this heaven he gan him to deleta, and therewithal 1,000 team her kista, that what to doen for joy unneth he wista. Then said he thus, O love, O charity, thy mother eke, Cytherea they sweet, after thyself next heried Bechet, Venus main e, they well willy planeta, and next that Emenius e the great, for never man was to yow goddess hold as ye, which ye ham brought fro Kerry's cold. Benigne love, thou holy bond of thing is, whoso will grass, and list thee not honoren, lo, his desire will flee withouten winges, for knoldest thou of bounty him succoren, that serven best and most alway laboren, yet were all lost, that Dari will sain so 'tis, but if thy grass passed all desertes. And for thou may, that could least deserve of him that numbered been unto thy grace, hast holpen, very likely was to starve, and me bestowed in so haich a place, that thilke boundes may no blisse passe, ye can no more, but loud and reverence, be to thy bounty and thine excellence. And therewithal Criseyde anon he kissed, of which certain she felt no disease, and thus saide he, now wold I God he weest mine hearte sweet, how I yow meek to please, what man, quod he, was ever thus at ease as I, on which the fairest and the best that ever I say, deigneth her hearte rest. Here may men seen that mercy passeth reeked. The experience of that is felt in me, that am unworthy to so sweet a weeked, but hearte mean of your benignity so thinketh, though that I unworthy be, yet mote I need amending in some wise, reeked thorough the virtue of your haich service. And for the love of God, me lady Dara, sin God hath wrought me for I shall yow serve, as thus I meane, that ye will be me stara, to do me leave, if that yow least, or starve, so teacheth me how that I may deserve your thank, so that I, through mine ignorance, may do no thing that yow be displaisance. For certes, freshe woman leche weave, this doth I say, that troth and diligence, that shall ye finden in me all me lief, ne will not certain break in your defence, and if ye do, present or in absence, for love of God, let slee me with thy deede, if that it leake unto your woman heede. I wis, quod she, mine own hearte's list, me ground of ease and all mine hearte dere, grant mercy, for on that is all me trist, but let us fall away from this matter, for it sufficeth this that said is here, and at a word withouten repentance, welcome me knicht, my peace, my suffisance. Of her delete, or joys un the leiste, were impossibly to me wit to say, but judgeth ye that han been at the feaste, of switch gladnesse, if that him least a play, he can no more, but that these ilke twae that nicht, betwixt dreed and seekernesse, felten in love the great worthinesse. O blissful nicht, of him so long ye sought, how blithe unto him both twa thou were, We nae hadde I switch on with me soul y bracht, yea, or the least joy that was there, away, thou foul danger and thou fair, and let him in this heaven blisse dwell, that is so haich that all nae can I tell. But sooth is, though I cannot tell in all, as can mine auctor of his excellence, yet have I said, and God to forn, I shall in everything all holy his sentence, and if that I, at love's reverence, have any word in each'd for the best, doth therewith all read as yourself emlaced. For mine wordes, here and every part, I spake him all under correction of yow, that failing han in love's art, and put it all in your discretion, to increase or maken diminution of my language, and that I yow beseech ya, but now to purpose of me rather speech ya. This ilke twa that been in armes laft, so luth to him asunder goon it were, that each from other wend been beraft, or Alice lo, this was her most affair, that all this thing but niece dreames were, for which full oft each of 'em said, O sweete, clepe each yow thus, or Alice I it mate. And Lord, so he gan goodly on her see, that never his look ne blainty from her face, and said, O dear heart, may it be that it be sooth, that ye been in this place? Yea, heart mine, God thank ye of his grace, what thou Criseyde, and therewith all him kieste, that where his spirit was, for joy he miste. These Troilus full oft her e'en twa gan for to kiesse, and said, O e'en Clare, it were ye that rocked me switch woe, ye humble nettes of my lady dere, though there be mercy written in your chair, God wot, the text full hard is, sooth to finde, how could ye withouten bond me binde? Therewith he gan her faste in armes take, and well an 100 teames gan he seeke, not sweet sorrowful seekes as men make for woe, or elles one that folks been seeke, but easy seekes, switches been to leeke, that showed his affection within, of sweetche seekes could he not begin. Soon after this they spake of sundry thinges, as fill to purpose of this aventure, and playing entrechangeden her ringes, of which he can not tell in no scripture, but well he woot, a brooch, gold and assure, in which a ruby set was leaken harte, Criseyde him yaf, and stak it on his shirt. Lord, trow ye, a covetous a wretche be, that blameth love and holdeth of it despite, that of the pains that he can mocre and cache, was ever yet ye gave him switch to lead, as is in love, in oo point, in some pleat, nay, doughty lease, for also God me save, so perfect joy may no niggard have. They will say, Yes, but Lord, so that they lie, though busy wretches, full of woe and dread, they call in love a woodnesse or folly, but it shall follow him as I shall yow read. They shall forego the wheat and eke the read, and leave in woe their God gave him mischance, and every lover in his troth avance. As wold the God, though wretches that despise a service of love, had eris all so long as had a Mida, full of covetise, and thereto drunken had as hoot and stronge as crasse steed for his affectus wronge, to teach in him that they been in the visa, and lover is knocked, although they hold him niece. These ilke twa, of whom that I yow say, when that he habt as well assured were, though gone they to spaken and to play, and eke rehearsen how, and wanna and where, they knew him first, and every woe and fair that passed was, but all such heaviness, ye thanke it God, was turned to gladness. And evermo, when that him fell to spake of anything of switch a team agone, with kissing all that tala shoulder break, and fallen in a newe joy anon, and deeden all her meeked, sin they were on, for to recover in bliss and being at ease, and passed woe with joy contrapays. Reason will not that he spake of sleep, for it accordeth not to my matter. God woot, they talk of that for little cape, but less this neeked, that was to him so dear, ne should in vain escape in no manera, it was beset in joy and business, of all that soundeth into gentilesse. But when the cock commune astrologer gan on his breast to bete, and after crow, and Lucifer, the day's messenger, gan for to rise, and out her bemis throw, and esward rose, to him that could it know, Fortuna major, that a noon Criseyde with hearte sore to Troilus and Criseyde. Mijn heart is lief, me triste and my plaisance, that he was born, alas, what me is woe, that die was moet mark deseverance. For team it is to rise, and hennes go, where elles I am lost for evermore. O nicht, alas, why nilt thou over us hova, as long as wanna almena lay by lova? O blake nicht, as folk in boekes rede, that shapen art by God this world to heede, at certain times with the darke wede, that under that man meekt in rest abide, while ook the best is plain, and folk thee cheede, that thereas they with labour woldest preste, that thou thus fleest, and deignest us not reste. Thou dost, alas, to shortly thine office, thou rakel nicht, their God, maker of kinde, thee for thine hast and thine unkinde visa, so fast I to our hemisphere binde, that never more under the ground thou winde, for now, for thou so hiest out of Troy, have ye forgone thus hastily me joy. This Troilus, that with the word is felte, as though to him though for pietaus distresse, they bloody terrors from his hearte melte, as he that never yet such heavinesse assayed hadde, or of so great gladnesse, gan therewithal Criseyde his laddie dere, in armes strain, and saide in this manere. O cruel day, accuser of the joy, that nicht in love hence stole, and fast ye ryan, accursed be the coming into Troy, for every boor hath one of thee Brictian. Envious day, what list thee so to span? What hast thou lost? Why seekest thou this place? Their God thy licht so quench for his grace. Alas, when han this lovers thee a guilt, dispitous day, thine be the peen of hell, for many a lover hast thou shent and wilt, by pouring in warm aware let to him dwell. But profferest thou thy licht here for to sell, go sell it him, that smalle sell is graven, we will thee nocht, us needeth no day haven. And eke the sonne, tieten gan he cheede, and saide, O fool, well may men thee despise, that hast they dawing all nicht by thee siede, and sufferest here so soon up fro thee rise, for to diseasen lovers in this wise. What? Holde your bed there, thou, and eke thee ye biddy God, so yive ya both a sorrow. Therewith full sore he seekte, and thus he said, Me lady reeked, and of me well or woe, the well and wrote, O goodly mean Criseyde, and shall ye rise, alas, and shall ye go? Now feel ye that mine hearte mootet woe, for how shall ye me leave an houre save, sin that with jou is all they lief ye have? What shall ye doen, for certes ye not how? Ne wana, alas, ye shall the time say, that in this plit ye may be eft with jou, and of me lief, God woot, how that shall be, sin that these year reek now so beateth me, that ye am deed anon, but a return. How shall ye longer, alas, for jou sojourn? But natheless, mine owen laddie breekt, yet were it so that he wiste outerly, that ye, your humble servant and your knecht, were in your heart set so firmly, as ye in mine, the which thing truly, me lever were than these a world is twain, yet should ye bet enduren all me pain. To that Criseyde answered reeked anon, and with a seek she said, O hearte deare, the gam ye wis so fair forth now is gone, that first shall Phoebus fall fro his spere, and every egle being the dove is faire, and every roche out of his place starte, ere Troilus out of Criseyde's hearte. Yea, hey, so deep in with mine hearte grave, that though ye would turn out of my thoughte, as weasely were I God my soul save, to dien in the pain ye could nocht, and for the love of God that us bath rocked, let in your brain none other fantasy so crepe, that it cause me to die. And that ye may wold han as fast in minde as ye have jou, that wold ye jou be seche, and, if ye wist soothly that to finde, God meekte not appoint my joys age, but harte meen without a more speech, beth to me trow, or else were it routh, for I am thine, be God and be my trouth. Beth glad for thee, and leave in secrenesse, thou saide I never ere this ne shall to mo, and if to jou it were a great gladnesse, to turn again, soon after that ye go, as fain will I as ye, it were so, as weasely God mine harte bring at reste, and him in armes took, and ofte kiste. Against his will, sin it mote nedes be, this Troilus uprose, and fast him clade, and in his armes took his lady free, and 100 time, and on his way him spade, and with switch wordes as his harte blade, he saide, farewell, me dere harte swete, der goddess grante sonde, and soon to meete. To which no word, for sore was she answerde, so sore gan his parting her distrain, and Troilus unto his palace fared, as woe begone as she was sooth the same, so hard him wrong of sharp desire the pain, for to be in F there he was in plaisance, that it may never out of his remembrance. Returned to his real palace, sone he soft into his bed gan for to slinke, to sleep along, as he was wont to doen, but all for naught, he may well liege and winke, but sleep ne may there in his heart sinke, thinking how she, for whom desire him brende, 1,000-fold was worth more than he wende. And in his thought gan up and down to winde her wordes all, and every countenance, and firmly impressen in his minde, the least a point that to him was plaisance, and very leech of thilke remembrance. Desire all knew him brende, and lust to brede gan more than erst, and yet took he non hede. Criseyde also reeked in the same wise, of Troilus gan in her harte shete his worthinesse, his lust, his dades wise, his gentilesse, and how she with him mate, thanking glove he so well her besette, desiring ef to have her harte dere in switche plit, she durste mak him chere. Pandara, a morwa which that common was unto his nese, and gan her faire great, saide, all this nicht so reigned it, alas, that all me drede is that ye, nese sweet, and little laser had to sleep and mate. All nicht, quod he, hath reigned so domi waka, that some of us, I trow, her had his aka. And there he come and said, how stont it now, this merry morwa nese, how can ye fara? Criseyde answered, never the bet for jou, fox that ye bane, God gave your heart a care. God help me so, ye caused all this fara. Throw I, quod she, for all your word is wete. Oh, whoso seeth jou, knoweth jou for vita. With that she gan her face for to rie with the shete, and wax for sham all rede, and Pandarus gan under for to prie, and saide, nese, if that he shall be deed, have here a sweared, and smeeteth off mine heed, but that his arm all suddenly he threeste under her necke, and at the last her kiste. Ye passe all that which chargeth not to say, what? God forgave his deeth, and she also forgave, and with her uncle again to play, for other cause was there none than so. But of this thing reeked to the effect to go, when Tima was home till her house she went, and Pandarus hath fully his entente. Now turn we again to Troilus, that restless for long abed lay, and privily sent after Pandarus, to him to come in all the haste he may. He come anon, not honest said he nay, and Troilus full soberly he grate, and down upon his bedde seide him sette. This Troilus with all the affection of friendes love that harte may devise, to Pandarus on knees fell down, and ere that he wold of the place arise, he gan him thanken in his beste wise, and 100 seethe he gan the team blesse, that he was born, to bring him fro distresse. He saide, O friend of friendes, the allerbeste that ever was, they south for to tella, thou hast in heaven ye brought my soul at resta fro Phlegetown, the fairy flood of hell, that, though ye make the 1,000 timesel upon a day, me lief in thy service, it make the nacht a mote in that suffice. The sonna, which that all the world may say, saw never yet, my lief, that Derry lay, so inly fair and goodly as is she, whose I am all, and shall till that day, and that I thus am heres Derry say, that thanked be the haich worthiness of love, and eke thee kinde busyness. Thus hast thou me no little thing ye yeva, for which to thee obliged be for aye my lief, and we, for thurg thine help ye leave, for Alice deed had I be many a day. And with that word down on his bed he lay, and Pandarus full soberly him heard, till all was said, and then he thus answered: Me deare friend, if ye have done for thee in any cause, God woot, it is my lief, and am as glad as man may of it be. God help me so, but talk now a grief that ye shall sain, beware of this mischief, that, thereas thou now brought art into bliss, that thou thyself may cause it not to miss. For of fortune's sharpe adversity, the worst kind of infortune is this, a man to have been in prosperity, and it remembering when it passed is, thou art wise enough, for thy do not remiss. Be not too rackle, though thou sit a warma, for if thou be, certain it will be honema. Thou art at ease, and hold of the well therein, for also sure as reed is every fear, as great a craft is keep a well as win. Bridle always well thy speech and thy desire, for worldly joy halt not but by a weir. That braveth well, it breast all day so oft, for thy need is to work with it soft. Quod Troilus, ye hope and God to forn, my deare friend, that ye shall so me bear, that in me guilt there shall no thing be lorn, nay e'll not reckle as for the graven here, it needeth not this matter oft a terra, for wistest thou mine hearte well, Pandora, God woot, of this thou woldest little cara. Though gan he tell him of his glad aneekte, and whereof first his hearte drede, and how and saide, friend as he him through kneekte, and by that faith he shall to God endow, he had it never half so hot as now, and they the more that desire me beateth to love her best, the more it me deleteth. I knew myself not wisely what it is, but now I fell a new quality, yea, all another than I did ere this. Pandora answered and said thus, that he that ones may in heaven bliss obey, he faileth other ways, Derry lay, than thilke time he first heard of it say. This is a word for all, this Troilus was never full to spake of this matter, and for to present unto Pandarus the bounty of his reekte laddie dare, and Pandarus to thank and mark and cheer, this tala was span new to begin, till that the neekt departed him atwin. Soon after this, for that fortunate world, y common was the blissful time sweet, that Troilus was warned that he should, there he was erst, Criseyde his laddie mate, for which he felt his heart in joy flate, and faithfully gone all the good as Harry, and let's see now if that he can be merry. And holden was the form and all the wisa for coming, and eke of his also, as it was erst, which needeth not devisa, but plainly to the effect reeked for to go, in joy and surety Pandarus him twa a bed brochte, when that him both alaced, and thus they been in quiet and in rest. Noch needeth it ta yow, sin they been met, to ask at me if that they blithe were, for if it erst was well, thou was it bet 1,000-fold, this needeth not inquire. Agone was every sorrow and every fair, and both ye wis they hadde, and so they wende, as much a joy as hearte may comprehende. This is no little thing, O for to say, this passeth every wit for to devise, for each of him gan others lust obey, felicity, which that these clerkes wise commenden so, they may not here suffice. This joy may not written been with ink, this passeth all that hearte may bethinke. But cruel day, so well away the stonde, gan forth approach, as they by sickness knew, for which him thought fell on death his wounde. So woe was him that changed gan her hue, and they goonen to despise all new, calling it traitor, envious, and worse, and bitterly the days leaked they curse. Quod Troilus, alas, now war that Pyrrhus, and thou swift status three, which that drawen forth the sunne's char, and goen some bypath in despite of me, that maketh it so soon a day to be, and for the son him hasteth thus to rease, ne shall we never doen him sacrifice. But Neda's day departed most him sona, and when her speech doen was and her chera, they twin anon as they were wont to doen, and set in team of meeting after fera, and many a neat they rocked in this manner, and thus fortune a team lara enjoy Criseyde, and eke this king's son of Troy. In suffisance, in blisse, and in sinking gas, this Troilus gan all his leaf to Leda. He spendeth, looseth, maketh festinings, he gaveth freely oft, and changeth weda, and held about him alway, out of drede, a world of folk, as come him well of kinde, the freshest and the best he coulde finde. The switch of voice was of him and a staven, through out the world, of honour and largesse, that it uprung unto the gate of heaven, and, as in love he was in switch gladnesse, that in his heart he deemed, as he guesse, that there his lover in this world that aise, so well as he, and thus he gan love him please. The goodly head or beauty which that kinde, in any other lady had he set, cannot the mountains of a knotten binde, about his harte, of all Criseyde's net. He was so narrow y masked and y knet, that it undone on any manner side, that nil not been, for aught that may betide. And be the hand full ofte he will talk of this Pandarus, and into garden leda, and switch a feaste and switch a process make him of Criseyde, and of her woman Hede, and of her beauty, that withouten brede it was in heaven his wordes for to heare, and then he wolde sing in this manere. Love that of earth and sea hath governance, love that his hestes hath in heaven he, love that with an wholesome alliance hot peoples joined, as him list him gie, love that knetteth law of company, and couples doth in virtue for to dwelle, being this accord that ye have told in tale. That the world with faith, which that estable, diverseth so his standards concording, that elements that being so discordable, holden a bond perpetually during, that Phoebus mote his rosy day forth bring, and that the Mona hath lordship over the Nyctes, all this doth love, I heried be his meektes. That the say, the grady is to flowen, constraineth to a certain end so his floods, that so fiercely they ne growen to drench in earth and all for evermore. And if that love aught late his bridal go, all that now loveth asunder shoulder lape, and lost were all that love halt now to hape. So will the God that auctor is of kinde, that with his bond love of his virtue liste to circle in heart is all, and faste binde, that from his bond no weak the way outwiste, and heart is cold him wolde that he twiste, to make him love, and that him least I rue on heart is sore, and keep him that been true. In all Aeneas for the town as were, he was, and I the first in armes deeked, and certainly, but if that book is error, save Hector, most he dread of any weaked, and this increase of hardiness and meeked calm him of love, his laddie's thank to winne, that altered his spirit so within. In team of throw, on hawking wold he reade, or elles hunten boer, bear or leon, the smalle bastes late he goen beside, and one that he come reading into town, full oft his laddie from her window down, as fresh as falcon coming out of mew, for reed he was, him goodly to salue. And most of love and virtue was his speech, and in despite hadde all wretchednesse, and doughty lease, no neither was him beseche to honour in him that hadde worthinesse, and aisen him that weren in distresse, and glad was he if any weaked welferde, that lover was, when he it wist or heard. Forsooth the same, he lost health every week, but if he were in love's haig service, he mane folk that aught it been of reeked. And over all this, so well could he devise of sentiment, and in so uncouth wise all his array, that every lover thought that all was well, whatso he said or wrought. And though that he become of blood royale, him least afraid at no wight for to chase, benigne he was to each in general, for which he got him thank in every place. Thus wold the love he harried be his grace, that pride, envy, ire, and avarice, he gan to flee in every other vice. Thou lady breekt the doctor to Dion, they blind and winged son eke, Don Cupid, ye sustren nina eke, that by Elicon in Il Parnaso listen for to abide, that ye thus fair and deigned me to guide, ye can no more, but sin that ye will wend, ye harried been for aye without an end. Thourig yow have ye said fully in my song, the fact and joy of Troilus service, albeit that there was some disease among, as to mine auctor listeth to devise. My thread of book now end each in this wise, and Troilus in loosed and inquiet is with Criseyde his own heart sweet. Explicit Liber Tertius. End of Book 3. Recording by Kevin Johnson.